So let's talk for a minute about the interior. So it's a bit of a funky interior. I'm getting used to it, but at first it just felt very weird and foreign. The seats are nice, but boy, they've got a lot of the kind of contour. They're like an S, and the part below your legs is very elevated. Yes, you can adjust it, but there's still this like S curve that goes high up and down and then up for your back. You feel like you're kind of, I don't know, it's like a hand holding you. I think it's a good thing in general, but it's just it's different. I rented a 911 Turbo last weekend. The seats are just kind of flat. It's like a bottom piece and a straight back piece. This has a major S curve in it, which is, you know, good generally. Great leg support, great. I tend to, in cars, elevate the thigh portion back, and I love thigh support. This has that already kind of built in. It's good. Steering wheel, kind of a square. I think it's fine. A lot of people, I heard people complain about it. In reality, what I like about it is if you drive properly, 10 and 2, you've got this angle here, something to grab onto, right? With a circular wheel, it's easy to just have your hand slip. This, for some reason, with a square design, it's just easier to hold here and not let go. So if your hands are right here on the corners, I think it feels right. Having said that, the design is weird. You have this like kind of, you know, noticeable bump here. It kind of pushes into your palms. It makes my hands a little numb after like an hour, but I'm sure I would get used to it. So I wouldn't choose a square steering wheel. I'd probably have a circular one. I'd rather have a circular one, but you know, I think the square one works pretty well. You know, the interior is it's a Chevy, right? It's a bit on the cheap side. I like it in general. It's the best Vette yet by far. You got this nice large display here, a great gauge cluster, all digital of course. The carbon fiber here and here, it looks fake to me. I can't imagine it's real. It doesn't look real. I would prefer like piano black if it were my car, but it looks okay. The dash here is nice. I like this. What I don't like are these weird design lines that carry up from the doors. See how they kind of swoop and go up to the dash here, and even the speakers are integrated in there. You can kind of, as you can see here, like you can kind of pull it with your hand and move it up and down. It just feels like cheap plastic to me. And then probably the biggest thing you'll notice is that the driver is sectioned off here. I mean, this is very driver focused. I'm in like my own pod here. There's this wall and there's a zillion buttons down here, which I don't mind that. Chevy has definitely not said, hey, let's just go all touchscreen. There's buttons galore over here, but essential buttons. So I actually don't mind this. The buttons are cheap. They feel like they're in any old Chevy, I think. But the most interesting thing is this wall. Like, look at this thing here. You're basically sectioned off. I was a passenger yesterday with a friend of mine, and you feel isolated over here. And in fact, it's hard as a passenger to rest your arm here because it goes up on this thing. So the driver can do this. The passenger, it's like you got half the armrest, and then this thing is there. You got to kind of twist your arm. It's not the best car to be a passenger in, although the ride was very comfortable from the passenger seat, but this wall situation, it's like walling the driver off, it's a bit weird. There's also this, you probably can't see it on the camera here, but there is a dial to turn the modes over here. It feels very high quality, like metal, but it's really high effort. You really have to push it left and right hard to get it to change the modes. I don't know why they don't just do a button. Why have this giant dial here? It just doesn't make any sense to me. But anyway, so the nicest Vette yet, I think, by a mile. You know, it's not a McLaren, it's not a Porsche, right? It's not levels of European competitors quality, but for a Chevy, I think it's pretty good. There's still a lot of tacky bits. You can see here, the walled section here, they insist on tapering it off instead of just ending it. So it keeps going up here, over here, to the middle of the dash. This serves like no purpose. This is a like flappy piece of dash, you know, rubber and plastic here. It serves no real purpose other than to kind of complete the design. So again, not a fan of this stuff. I wish they would just take these swoopy continuations, this one and this one, just get that out of there. But I realize it kind of ties the design in and sees it to completion. So anyway, not the biggest, not a big deal, but you know, the interior is decent for the price point. I think the interior is quite good. Obviously, compared to rivals, while this car competes on performance, the interior quality is many levels below competitors. But you'd expect that. It's a Chevy and it's a low price car, right?